Let's jump now to CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane with the latest on the Jeffrey Epstein emails released by lawmakers. Scott, good morning. We also have this upcoming vote next week on the discharge petition. What's the latest?
Well, in your mind's eye, try to picture 23,000 pages of like anything. That's what we got yesterday, not from the Department of Justice, but just from the Epstein estate to the House Oversight Committee. 23,000 pages, including emails from Epstein himself from 2011, from 2019, just before he died by suicide. Democrats spotlighted some of those emails and released them publicly, including emails in which Epstein wrote in 2011 to Ghislaine Maxwell, his co-conspirator, that Trump had spent a lot of time at the Epstein home. In 2019, an email from Epstein released by Democrats yesterday says that, of course, Trump knew about the girls and had urged Ghislaine Maxwell to stop. This is a lot of what we're seeing in a broader investigation.
More than 6 years after disgraced and convicted sex predator Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, U.S. House Democrats released on Wednesday a series of his private messages mentioning President Trump.
I think pretty serious stuff, disturbing stuff in these emails.
The emails include this one from Epstein to his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in 2011, in which he wrote that Trump had spent hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims. The White House identified that victim as Virginia Giuffre, who said she was recruited by Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago and died by suicide in April.
Jeffrey was a sick pedophile.
But in a 2016 deposition, Giuffre said she didn't think Donald Trump participated in anything. And in a separate newly released message from 2019, Epstein wrote to author Michael Wolff about Trump. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop, though it's unclear what exactly he had asked her to stop doing. Wolff, whose writings have sparked controversy in the past, reacted to the email Wednesday night on a podcast with The Daily Beast.
Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had this deep relationship. They knew everything about each other. Their obsession was women, girls, models.
The emails were part of approximately 23,000 pages of records handed over by Epstein's estate to the Republican-led House Oversight Committee under subpoena. Trump has frequently denied any wrongdoing, and he's dismissed calls to release more information.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
The White House downplayed Trump and Epstein's relationship and blasted Democrats for cherry-picking excerpts.
Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
Meanwhile, a bipartisan group of lawmakers are one step closer to a vote to release all of the Epstein case files held by the Department of Justice. After Democratic Congresswoman Adelina Grijalva of Arizona was finally sworn in Wednesday after nearly 2 months of waiting and became the decisive signature on a petition to force that vote.
With my signing, we move one step closer to the truth that they will try to deny, but that survivors deserve.
Yeah, the president had calls and meetings with some of the Republicans who are backing that petition to force that vote. They did not take their names off the bill after those calls and meetings, Errol.
All right, Scott McFarlane, thank you. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us now live from the North Lawn with reaction from the president. Nancy, good morning. So Scott touched on it somewhat there, but overall, how has the president responded to all of this Epstein information being released as it relates to him?
He is not happy, Errol. He posted more than once online yesterday, lashing out at Democrats who he says are pushing this Epstein file situation because they are trying to distract from the pain that was caused by the shutdown. That despite the fact that the White House spent the day trying to convince a couple of key Republicans not to sign on to that discharge petition. They were unsuccessful, so the 218 signatures are now there to force a vote, which puts a lot of Republicans who didn't sign on in a tricky situation because on one hand, they have heard from their constituents over and over again that they want the Epstein files to be released. On the other hand, President Trump has made it clear that he doesn't. So what are they going to do? We asked Andy Harris, a Republican congressman from Maryland, about that on the Takeout yesterday. Take a listen to what he said.
I have no problems with things being released. What I do have a problem with is when you release something and you redact something purposefully to mislead people. And that's exactly what the Democrats did on oversight.
White House press secretary was pushed on why the White House opposes the release of the Epstein files. She said that this White House has been more transparent when it comes to Epstein than any other administration.
All right, Nancy Cordes at the White House. Nancy, thank you.